Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me on Living To Do's page and the review of Homecoming, Episode 5 Truth Hurts. Before I get started with the video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And you can also find me on Fanbase, the new monetized app that is out. You can find me on Fanbase under the same name, Living To Do. So let's get started with this review. The first scene we see Simone on the tennis courts with Thea. It's one of the hottest days of the year. And Thea is talking to Simone about her grandmother setting her up on a blind date. I guess she has apprehension about that. Simone has offered to help her with preparing for the date. Apparently, Thea has trouble establishing a connection with another person, and Simone is going to help her with that. Clearly, she has problems establishing a connection with another person. Um, so Simone is just going to help her be normal. She's so guarded and mean, and she doesn't have any friends. So I guess she is feeling self-conscious, basically. Simone talks to her aunt Amara, and real quick, and she's having it looks like a bite to eat with her, and Simone is feeling a certain type of way about her baby that she had, Shay. His adopted parents are coming into town with them, and they're going to meet with Shay. But of course, all her classmates, they don't know that she had a baby, and she she's never told them, and she wants to walk in her truth. I guess be transparent, and so her aunt says you can keep it separate, but she wants to be transparent with it, I guess. But she doesn't want to be treated differently and looked at differently, and um, so she's starting to think about that, and she wants to, but um, Coach Marcus afterwards meets with Amara, and Amara wants to know why they broke up in college. She has a real bad attitude about it because he doesn't seem to give up this information freely. But I don't understand, why is she so pressed now? You had a lot of interactions with him, uh, and you didn't bring it up. It didn't seem to bother you, or whatever it was. You never mentioned it before, and lately you just been asking this guy, "Why did you break up with me? Why did you break up with me?" And I think they were in the gym actually, and she was working out in the gym when when he walked up to her and asked that. I just can't understand why she's so mad about it now. It's been years, and you've interacted with him so much on campus in the last few episodes, and it wasn't really an issue. Later, we see Simone, talking with Damon. Damon is wondering where JR is. JR apparently has been missing. He hasn't been around for a couple of days, that Damon has noticed. And he also informs Simone that he requested his adoption records finally, because he's been interested lately on finding out who his biological parents are. And then he poses a question, or he's thinking out loud to Simone, saying, "What kind of mother gives up her child?" Well, we all know Simone gave up her child. That's weighing on her mind. Now he's thinking, in her mind, I think he's thinking, what kind of woman does that? And not knowing he's talking to a woman who has. Now she's thinking that he must be thinking negative things of her. He would think negative things of her if he found out about what she had done. all of a sudden there's a power outage at the school, and not just the school. They found out it's citywide. So most of the episode that was recorded in the dark, and we found out that JR's been drinking. He's in somebody's dorm drinking up a storm, and he's apparently drinking because his parents are getting a divorce, and this is how he's coping with it. In the dark, Simone and Thea meet up to help her go over um, to preparing for her blind date. We find out she never dated. She was homeschooled. She's traveled the world, so she just feels. I guess she doesn't know how to relate to people, being at home because she was on the tennis. I guess a traveling uh, tennis team that she's on, where she's all over the world traveling, winning uh, trophies, but never had a boyfriend. So now she's in college. She's set up on a blind date, and Simone is helping her with it. It explains a lot, but I just don't think people that are homeschooled are so antisocial. They seem like they're very social people. The ones I've come in contact anyway. They still get out and, like she plays tennis, they're out doing sports and activities. But Thea is a different, she's a different, different brand. So next we have, later in the episode, we have Amara and Coach Marcus. They're locked in the gym. They can't get out because of the new updated security systems. When the power goes off, you're locked in unless you have a key, and there's no key to be found. So isn't it convenient that just those two, are locked in the school gym when the power goes out? So this is a good opportunity for Amara to ask Coach Marcus why he broke up with her. She's saying, you preach all this integrity to your players, but she's not seeing it when it comes to this question and why he won't answer her. Um, so he says, ask Tina. Tina is apparently Amara's sister, and we find out that Tina, Amara's sister, told Marcus that he wasn't good enough for Amara. And this is news to Amara. She never knew this. And when he was being told this, it was in his mind. He was going to be, I think he was in the minor leagues maybe. And he took some I think it was an enhancing drug to be better at his game, and somehow it had maybe some type of side effect that put him in the hospital. So he was just filled with shame for what he did, because he was never that type of person to do something like this. He just fell into the peer pressure, and it winded him up in the hospital. Uh, and the school lied, saying that they lied about what happened, uh, so they could protect their image. And of course, he didn't think he was enough. He couldn't, I guess he didn't make it to the big leagues, and he felt like a failure. And in his mind, Amara's sister was right. He wasn't good enough. And Amara told him then, that when they were locked in the gym, that he is good enough. He was always good enough. And I guess they started feeling a type of way, and they started making out, kissing in the locked gym, the gymnasium there, the locker room, or the athletic room. And then they started kissing, and they had sex there, in the blackout. But then when the lights come on, the power's back up on, and she's able to leave, she abruptly leaves. And Amara's confusing me, because she's sending out mixed messages. You've been around this guy for a long time. You never asked why he broke up with you. He becomes vulnerable with you in a situation where neither one of you could leave. You become intimate. When you can leave, you abruptly leave. Is that mixed messages? I don't know. I don't know about more. I guess we're all complicated creatures. Okay. So Damon is worried about JR. So he calls JR's dad, Jesse. Um, so he leaves a message saying, JR is not, he's not doing too well up here, and maybe a call from you would help, or you should see about him. He just leaves a message. Next, we have Thea and Simone, and Simone is, um, she's talking to, Thea is talking to Simone. She's basically telling her what she is and what she ain't, what Simone is and what she ain't, and she just has this wrong conceived notion about Simone. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. So Simone tells her in the dorm room, the rec room, the common area room, that she had a baby. And of course, Thea didn't know that. And Simone thinks she's telling everybody this is new news. Thea was there, Keisha was there, and Nate was there. And she said she had a baby. She gave it up for adoption, and her baby's name is Shay. And they're gonna come to visit. So they're all aware that this girl had a baby, and um, Nate and Keisha knew already. And the way they knew is that Simone shares a dorm room with Nate, and she let Nate use her computer. And on the computer were pictures and emails from little baby Shay's adopted parents, keeping Simone updated and abreast on his progress. So he already knew, and I guess he told Keisha. Now, when they were talking all about this, Damon came up, and he's hearing it for the first time, overhearing it that Simone had a baby and gave it up for adoption. Oh, he leaves the room. He's like, "You had a baby, gave up for adoption?" And he walks out. So he talks to Simone out in the hallway, and he's like, "All these secrets, I didn't know this about you. And she goes, "You said, what kind of woman would give up her child for adoption?" She says this back to him, and he goes, "I didn't mean you, but she felt being judged. She couldn't open up about her very same experience in life, that she had done this to a man who was given up for adoption, and he's feeling a certain type of way, she's feeling a certain type of way." And he kind of forgives her, and he goes, "Any more secrets?" And she reluctantly, she said that her and JR thought that maybe he was the JR's brother. And they've been not really sneaking around, but they've been like in close conversation about something. And Damon has noticed. He asked about it. She wouldn't tell him, of course. So that's what all the sneaking around is. So Damon confronts JR. He's knocking on his dorm room door. And right off the bat, he confronts him by saying, "Were you ever going to tell me that I could possibly be your brother?" Dame or JR gives him a picture of the baby picture that he had. And he goes, "This could be any baby." He doesn't even recognize that baby picture as possibly being himself. And JR points out the scar on the baby's forehead, one similar that Damon has on his. And he just doesn't, that's just like all this information. That he could possibly be his brother, that there was a time that they thought he was Amara and Coach Marcus's son. I'm sure this poor guy he's thinking a lot of things, but the thing is, why get mad at other people? Uh, they didn't know what was what. They were just speculating, and just because they were theorizing with one another, uh, to find out what they could possibly find a concrete answer before they go off telling you something like that. And you're mad because they're just speculating or sharing thoughts. They just weren't ready to tell you. I think he needs to respect that. And these are, there's nothing to get mad about. It's just nothing to get mad about. Thea, so she finally meets her blind date, Kevin, and I'm glad she's with somebody or meeting somebody else. I hope it's a whole new wonderful chapter in her life because she needs someone to help dissolve her negativity. All that negative energy she has. She's so uptight. Maybe she can learn to relax a little bit. If it's somebody in her life, um, she can maybe use that energy for something else. The next, when the lights are on and everything, JR is talking to Nate. He actually talked to him earlier and he had a little bit of a tiff with him. They were playing cards, spades, I believe, and they bet if JR won, he could get anything he wanted, and he would get some weed from Nate. And then if Nate won, Nate wanted him to call his parents, and that made Nate mad. He blew up at, I'm sorry, that made JR mad. He blew up at Nate. And but later he saw Nate again, and he was not drunk, probably over hangover, and he talks to him. They have a little serious conversation, just the two of them, about does it ever get better, or how do you get better? And Nate once again told him, you should call your parents and get answers. And then it will make you feel better. I mean, it won't be great, but at least you'll know. And you don't have to wonder, and it will just get easier from there. Good, solid advice. I guess Nate has always shown so far that he is there because he's a voice of reason. Even when that guy was yelling at him, he stayed with it. He didn't run away. He didn't get mad. He didn't get an attitude. And later, when his friend came off his hangover or his drinking binge, he gave him grace and he heard him out. So he's a solid dude or person. The last scene we show Damon, and he's going to the email. He got his adoption records back, I guess by email, but he's been reluctant to open them. So in the last scene, he opens it, and it just says there's no adoption records for him in the state of Georgia. So we leave it at another cliffhanger to find out who are his parents, what estate are the adoption records in. Hopefully we'll find out a lot more. Good episode. It was interesting. I liked it. But that is it for now. If you would please like, share, and comment on this video, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to this channel. And also you can find me on Fanbase, the new monetized app that is out there. You can find me on Fanbase under the same name, Living to Do. And that's what I got to do. I got to go live. Talk to you later. Bye.